Good afternoon, friends, and welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. We are retired New York City police detectives and 9/11 World Trade Center first responders. Hey, folks, if you like all things true crime related from the police detective's perspective, consider hitting that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you'll get all things DutyRon and Ed Wallace when we go live or upload another video. Hey, today we want to talk to you about Kayla Montgomery, the step monster for Harmony Montgomery. Did she get off too easy is the question that we're posing to you today. She was approved on Thursday for early release on parole with conditions. It disgusted me to hear it. I caught it live. The day was very busy on Thursday. Friday was an equally as busy day, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it. But Ed and I want to come live here because you, the viewing audience, were, by my observations, were outraged just like we are. She got a slap on the wrist, and she did a lot. We heard her testify that she was hands-on with cutting clothing off of Harmony Montgomery. Ed, I wanted to go to you quick for your thoughts because you're always fair and balanced.
Well, I 100% agree. Come on, this is our criminal justice system. The prosecutors, they look at their target, they see who they want to get, they try to get the low-hanging fruit to turn on the bigger target. Like, I mean, come on, Sammy the Bull Gravano was, how many people did that guy murder? And they made a deal with him because they wanted John Gotti, and they made a deal with the devil and they got John Gotti. Okay, and that's the system we're in. And unfortunately, yeah, she has a lot of culpability. She broke a lot of laws. She was in it up to her neck. She didn't actually, quote unquote, do the killing, but she was there. She witnessed it. She did nothing to stop it. She didn't call the police. She didn't do any of the things that reasonable, normal people would do because she's not a reasonable, normal person.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. And this is really what it's all about right here. Harmony Montgomery and justice for her, where we know her father was found guilty of all counts right across the board. We were happy about that. And the state cut a deal with Kayla Montgomery to testify. But here's the thing. She lied before a grand jury. She lied all along until she saw that she had the potential for spending the rest of her days behind bars. And then, and only then, and this is, again, my lens, this is my view of this, and then and only then did she decide, hey, I want to save myself, and I'm going to now testify against Adam with the things that I knew and that I should have came forward. If I was a decent human being, I should have came forward with this from the get-go once he got locked up and I knew that he couldn't get to me, but she didn't do that. She was stone-faced. She was just sitting behind bars, and then when she was all confronted with the potential from her attorneys of how much time she could spend behind bars, then she was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna tell them what happened or my version." I don't even believe 100% her version. Ed, I mean, I gotta go to you on this.
Well, I mean, part of the agreement she made to get this plea was that she cannot perjure herself. She cannot lie on the stand. And apparently there's been nothing to date from the prosecutor stating that she, in fact, has perjured herself, and therefore the deal would be off because they allowed her to go to the parole board. So for the prosecutor's point of view, they're done with her. She did what she proffered she was going to do before trial. At the trial, the only people that were saying, she lied, she perjured herself, was the defense team. And it looks like she's getting out. She had a parole hearing, and it looks like she's getting out. And the recidivism rate with these people is so high. So what's going to end up happening, in my opinion, she's going to go, we'll probably see her at another methadone clinic. She'll probably hook up with another junkie boyfriend, and she'll probably have a few more kids. And that, all of that is scary to me, all of it.
Not only is that scary, here is another thing that really, really frightens me, is that there's going to come a time when she's going to try to reach out to her kids, whether that be after the mandated 90 days or 60, I heard 60 and then I heard 90, that she has to be in this clean house. There's going to come a time that she's going to be let loose. Like Parole is going to stop watching her intensely. They're not going to be making their visits. When she's finally released from Parole, then she's going to, because she knows that if she gets caught, you sign away a freaking 20, 30 page, you sign your rights away when you go out on parole. So basically they can come, they can toss you, they could toss your room, they can go through your stuff. No warrants needed. They could just turn up your living space at any time, day or night, because I did it with Parole. But after that time period, she's going to go and try to reunite with her kids or reconnect with her kids. And I think that that's the dangerous part. And the dangerous part is if she goes back to drugs, look at what she tolerated the last time, Ed. She tolerated Harmony being basically squished and crunched into this little CMC bag, right? And she cut clothing off of her inside the bathroom and took her in the stroller to the Portland Pie Company. This is a person that is going to be walking out there.
Well, I mean, again, when I said earlier, these people, what I'm talking about is high school dropouts, drug addicts. Okay. In this case, she had married her junkie boyfriend, became her husband, and then she had kids by him.
Right.
The kids are not looked at as loving siblings or loving children. They're looked at as a dollar sign. Okay. To get monies to live off of, and they put drugs before the love and care of the children.
Right. Okay? There's no common sense.
Right. And they can't hold a job down. It's just ridiculous that, and the mother has the child. Her mother has her children. I thought the kids may have been adopted, but that's apparently not the case. I think the mother was awarded the children, and I have problems with that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
How much common sense does her mother have? Look, she was around and knew, like when we played the interview with the mom outside of her doorstep, where Harmony, the very site where he stored Harmony in that cooler, in the mom's cooler, right? She stood right in that very doorway and called him an evil monster and all this stuff. Let me play this little piece from Court TV for everybody. But I just want to say again, thank you to all of the moderators, the channel members, the Patreon supporters, the replay viewers, the live chatters, the people who became members during the course of all these live streams, like Anna, thank you for becoming a member. Jim's Girl, thank you for the super sticker. I like to call that super love. Thank you for the love and support here on Crime Time with DutyRon. Yeah, the mom's cooler. That shit blew my mind. But let's listen to this piece from Court TV.
Not been found. She's still missing tonight. She has not been laid to rest. It's unreal when you think about it. But the two people who were in her life as parents, I look at this picture and I say, those were her parents?
Yeah.
Adam on the left, career criminal father with the teardrop eye tattoo there. And then evil stepmom Kayla on the right. Wow. Wow. Now, we know what happened to Adam Montgomery. Done. Convicted first as a career criminal, but now convicted of the murder of Harmony. So he's done. He's done. He's not going to be walking among us, okay? But how about Kayla Montgomery, right? I mean, she was there like every step of the way. Her hands are not clean. Yeah, she testified for the prosecution, but her hands are not clean. I want to remind you tonight of what she did and what she didn't do. Take a look.
I put my arm up and said to stop, but he looks at me and he gave me this look that was like evil. It's his crazy eyes. I didn't like it. And I couldn't stop him from hitting her because the look that he gave me was scary. I was scared. He said he thinks that he really hurt her. And he felt something.
When did you realize that Harmony had passed away?
When Adam was trying to wake her up and she didn't reply or anything. He took the duffel bag that was in the trunk and put her in the duffel bag. He asked me to bring the bag to his job.
How did you get there from the Families in Transition shelter to his work?
I walked
And where was the bag at that point?
in the stroller.
Was anyone with you during that walk?
My 2 kids.
Why did you obey the defendant when he told you to bring Harmony's body in that bag to his work?
Because I was scared.
Kayla, why are you currently incarcerated?
For perjury, for lying on to the jury about the whereabouts of where I was and where Harmony was.
And when you say lying to the jury, was that the grand jury?
Yes.
Did you also lie to the police?
Yes.
Why'd you do that?
Because I was scared and I was told by Adam to stick with that story, but I felt like I was doing the right thing.
Because you wanted to do the right thing?
Yes.
So you went to the police station to do the right thing for the investigation.
Right.
And you went to the police station to do the right thing for Harmony.
Right.
And you went to the police station and told them that as far as you knew, Adam drove Harmony to Crystal's.
Yes.
So you went to the police station to do the right thing, which was to lie.
That was the defense.
Not only did she lie, after she witnesses the murder of a child in the car, right? Then she decides to make another baby with Adam. What is going on here? What is going on with this woman? She's up for parole, had a parole hearing today. Now, I spoke with Harmony's mother, Crystal Sorey, about that parole hearing on a prior episode of this show. Take a listen.
I don't believe that she should just be out and frolicking around and, yeah, she lost her kids. Yeah, she lost her man or whatever. I wouldn't even call him that, but she didn't lose a life. You know what I mean? Like she didn't.
For those of you watching that may not know this, and I don't think many of us do not know this, this is Harmony Montgomery's biological mom, Crystal Sorey. I just wanted to put that out there. I know that the majority of us know who she is, but for those tuning in or watching the replay, this statement is by Harmony Montgomery's biological mother.
She has the possibility to see her kids when they're adults, when they decide, hey, we want to find our mom or whatever. I don't have that opportunity ever again.
Well, hold on. Stop that.
No,
She has 2 kids. She still has a son. Okay. And that son was adopted and taken away from her and adopted.
Right.
Okay. So she's half right there, but I get what she's saying. She's 100% right that they took that opportunity with Harmony away from her.
Yeah, her son is with Blair Miller.
Yes.
Jameson.
And Harmony, they tried to get Harmony too. Blair tried to get Harmony and they wouldn't give it to him.
Yeah, and he was denied, and the judge in Massachusetts, as we know, gave full custody to Adam. And the only reason Adam Montgomery wanted Harmony is to support his drug habit. And Kayla Montgomery used Harmony's money from the food stamps from the federal government, and she claimed her on her tax return.
Exactly.
There's
I
so
told
much,
you
right?
they see the kids as dollar signs.
So
Not-
much shit with this is not right. Exactly. Not human beings. They see her as dollar signs. They wanted her because many people asked you and I, Ed, and asked many content creators on YouTube, why did Adam want Harmony so much? Why did he petition the court to get her? Ed, you got the answer.
Yes, they're dollar signs. Section 8 housing, and the welfare and all the medical and all of these things that come with having the child. Okay. I got to give her credit too. Crystal seems to have cleaned herself up.
Yeah. In this interview, she looks good and focused. I'm just going to play it again from the beginning, and then we're going to come back on because we have a poll in the chat, and I want to get to the poll at the end of the live stream. And we're going to do hashtag Ed, hashtag DutyRon as it pertains to questions for Kayla Montgomery. Did she get off too easy? Did she get off with a slap on the wrist? I believe the answer is wholeheartedly, hands down, 100% yes. She does not deserve freedom, as you heard here from Crystal Story. She said she doesn't deserve to be frolicking around. And yeah, she's going to have conditions from parole, but that we all know how much of bullshit that is. She's not going to be monitored 24/7. She's not going to be watched like a hawk. She's going to be free as a bird, and she's going to be able to do whatever she wants, have anybody she wants to bring her dope and bring her this and that once that 90-day period of monitoring and being in AA and all this bullshit that you heard from the people in that parole board hearing. I'm just appalled that these doctors, it was the first one that we heard from Ed was a doctor, like Dr. So-and-so, you could go first. And they asked her all these questions, these bullshit questions. And I don't know how many people here saw that parole board hearing on Thursday, but I watched it. And Kayla was just like dismissing it like it was bullshit. I mean, did you get that same take, Ed, from it?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. She looked like, I'm going through the motions here. This is a done deal,
Yeah, I was promised this.
Yeah,
It was almost like
I got it in writing. I did my part.
she didn't even look at
She
the parole people.
She felt entitled. She felt entitled.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sickening. All right, this is Crystal Story.
Yeah, she lost her man or whatever.
Parole hearing.
She should just be out and frolicking around, and yeah, she lost her kids. Yeah, she lost her man or whatever. I wouldn't even call him that. But she didn't lose a life. You know what I mean? Like she has the possibility to see her kids when they're adults, when they decide, hey, we want to find our mom or whatever. I don't have that opportunity ever again. So no, she should never be able to get out, regardless of this deal. I get it. I know they had to do that. And as far as her getting out and doing well, she won't. She won't. And so I'm not really, if she does get out, I'm not really worried. I'm not worried about her having this great life when she gets out, because I know for a fact she won't.
So today was the parole hearing. Kayla Montgomery had an opportunity to speak. She was being questioned by the parole officers. Let's take a look at what happened.
I didn't tell the truth about where I was during that time and not being able to cooperate with the detectives. I got all caught up in the situation. And if I just was honest from the beginning, they could have done their job sooner.
And what was their job?
To find Harmony and know what happened to her.
So Harmony was your stepdaughter, correct?
Yes,
Was she part of your family?
yes.
So how were you protecting your family by telling this lie?
And this is where I thought for a second, Ed, that parole board was not going to grant her release. The parole board, one of the parole board members said to her, Harmony was part of your family, right? And she said, yes. And then the audio sucks on this stuff, but if you listen with headphones, basically he said, if you were looking to protect Harmony, which she said yes, she was looking to protect her when she went to the police station, he asked her, then how are you protecting her? By lying and not telling the truth. So I thought right here that, oh, well, maybe they're going to be a big deny and let her sit there. What they should have done is made her sit there for 5 to 10 years or more and wait and keep denying her, and then give her a taste of her own medicine of what give her some punishment for what she did to that poor girl. But they didn't do it. They slapped on her wrist, and they, as far as I'm concerned, they failed Harmony Montgomery. The state of New Hampshire, I put it in the chat, failed Harmony Montgomery yet again with this release of this evil monster. She's evil. Don't be fooled by her. And I said the same thing about Paul Ferguson. They're evil. When you sit there and know and have the knowledge that a little 5-year-old is being condensed into coolers and bags and put out in the snow while you get high, and you all of a sudden have a moment of clarity, I don't buy that. That's bullshit.
Look, she took no ownership of Montgomery. She took no ownership. That's not my kid. I didn't have that kid with him. Okay, so she took no ownership of her, as you know, even though she was quote unquote the stepmother. All she saw was another dollar sign to go with her 2 kids.
Yeah.
More dollar signs, more money coming in from the government to subsidize their lifestyle of drugs and alcohol and so forth. Now, as I sit here watching her now, I'm wondering, is she clean? Is she still in a methadone program in prison? Is she clean, or does she have to, as a part of her condition?
Yeah, she's on Suboxone. So
Yeah.
she's taken, she's taken some medication. It's like a drug. It's a replacement for heroin. So she's on Suboxone. It's supposed to stop you from having the wants and needs. I don't really know a lot about it, but I know.
Okay. So when she gets out, she's going to have to be drug tested. She's going to have to go to a methadone clinic again. She's going to be in the same evil cycle that she was before she went in.
Yeah. And folks, I apologize. I get really amped up on this because we're talking about a small 5-year-old victim here that was helpless, and she could have helped her, but she failed to. And she could have helped get the investigators to the right place instead of wasting all the time of being silent and not saying a word in the name of her fear of her life.
In life, we come to crossroads. We have choices to make. Every day we have choices to make. And she took the wrong turn each and every time, okay, until it came time to save her own butt.
Yeah.
Okay. Then she gave up the goods. Okay. And we don't know exactly how much of that is totally true.
Yeah. She cooperated because she knew that her ship was sunk and that she was looking at major time. And because of that major time, her own selfishness of her own self, she said, I'm going to save myself, and I'm going to tell them some of the truth, and then I'm going to make up certain. I don't believe what she told was Ed, the science backs up some of the things she said about storage in the ceiling. I don't think they would have known about the biological material of Harmony Montgomery in the ceiling had she not made the admissions. So she did a lot to bring this investigation along and to have justice served to Adam. But she did it for her own selfish reasons, not because she cared about Harmony, not because she cared about being able to see her kids and being able to get free. You can't put a price tag on your freedom. And she was like, oh, shit, I'm going to all of a sudden have this. I'm all of a sudden going to have I'm going to come clean and tell everything. And it's right. It's righteous to be honest. She doesn't have an honest bone in her. She's going to continue to lie and carry on.
Well, and just like all alcoholics and drug addicts, they're very selfish. It's all about them. Okay. And they don't look at what they're doing to the other members of their family. They don't look at what they're doing to their children. And it's obvious. It's obvious. Look, in my family, I had a cousin, first cousin. I love him to death, but he came back from Vietnam and he was all messed up. Okay. And he couldn't get his life back together. And he was hooked on heroin.
Right.
Okay. And, methadone clinic, couldn't hold a job down despite my uncle and others in the family trying to get him steady work. And he couldn't hold it down. He couldn't, drinking and the methadone and whatever else he was doing. It just couldn't get it together. Okay. And because of that lifestyle, he met another methadone clinic girl, and they got together. And the long and the short of it is that toxic relationship ended up getting him killed.
Wow.
Okay. So, I've seen it firsthand in my own family. So,
I think there's a lot of us that can relate to stories similar to that. And, I too have it in my family, and wasn't as, as horrific as what happened with your family member. But at the end of the day, it's the addiction that takes over the person. And there's not any common sense. What we look at it as people who are straight and sober, for the most part, I go out and I'll have a social drink here and there. But what I'm saying is to for them, it's, as you said, and as we continue to say, it's not about what we would think you would do as a normal person to take care of your children, your family, elderly, everything in between. Your responsibilities get thrown out the window, and you become victim to the addiction. And whatever you have to do, whether it's robbing, stealing, beating, killing, this is what happens, and that's the sad reality. Let's listen to the rest of this.
So how are you protecting your family by telling us a lie?
I didn't. I'm being honest. I'm not lying. And distorted thinking, which you end up changing your thoughts. I could tell you, I could lie to you and say things, but I'm not. I am nervous right now and anxious.
I understand that for sure.
Yeah. So I'm trying my best to concentrate and not.
You have 4 other children, correct?
Yes.
And what's happening with them?
My oldest son lives with his father and stepmother and brothers. My 3 youngest, which are also my husband, ex-husband's children, they are living with my mother. They've been with her for the past almost 2.5 years. And I ended up losing my rights to them because of my crime that I am connected to. The affidavit got out, and I believe that they used it against me, which I understand.
I don't know what you're talking about here.
For my kids. So I ended up losing my kids. I lost the rights to my kids.
Right.
And the affidavit that got out about Harmony, and what it was saying and details that it was saying, I feel and believe that the CASA and the judge in that case, I believe that they were using the affidavit against me. So I lost my rights to my kids.
Do you have the ability to get those rights back?
I can, yeah. I put an appeal in.
Okay. So that's sort of it. But you're allowed.
We have to watch that appeal, because if they, God forbid, give her parental rights back, that would be a travesty of justice in itself. And I don't see that happening. But I didn't see Kayla being released on the first go around. I thought that they would let her sit and think about what she did. She just got done testifying not even a month ago. So to have her get out May 3rd, it's oh man, my fucking gets my blood boiling.
To Are you allowed to communicate with your children?
I haven't been. I'm not, well, DCYF still has custody of them, but they've been living with my mother.
No, I understand that, but are you allowed to communicate with them?
I have not talked to them. I know my mother has been taking care of them.
I understand, but you have not,
No, I
because
haven't
you're not
been.
allowed to, or because you?
I don't know if it's because I'm not allowed.
So he was trying to find out, Ed, if she made an attempt to try to reach out by writing a letter. I don't think either she was playing stupid or she just didn't answer the question. But he was asking her, have you made an attempt to communicate with your kids? And if so, or if not, why?
Well, I think he was also asking, is she being court ordered not to have anything to do with the kids? And she couldn't answer the question. She didn't interpret it correctly, and she didn't answer it right. And then he's clarifying it now, saying, no. Have you been ordered to stay away from the kids and make no contact? And she says, I don't know. Well, how do you not know? You have a freaking lawyer, okay? The judge ruled against you in the custody hearing and awarded your children to your mother. How do you not know if that was part of the stipulation?
Yeah, Dee Dee says either she's playing stupid, and I say that she just doesn't give a fuck. She didn't even care. All she cares about is getting out. She's like, that's a responsibility. The kids are a responsibility. I don't even know what I would say to them. She probably was just like, that was the last thing on her mind, trying to find out if she can get a hold of her kids. And that goes to show you how evil she really is that she doesn't give a fuck about the kids. She doesn't care.
And they said she was complaining that the judge and child services used her affidavit against her in the Harmony case. Well, what do you think they were going to do? You think that was sealed? That wasn't sealed. And they should use it against you. It shows what kind of the fitness of your parental thinking. Okay. And
she doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't give a fuck. And again, I apologize for I should be bleeping it, but I'm not, because in this case, it's appropriate to put that out there. She's a real piece of work. Let's finish this and let's get back to the questions. Hashtag Ed, hashtag DutyRon. When the time comes, use those hashtags. But right now, let's listen to this.
Of them, but they've been living with my mother.
No, I understand that, but are you allowed to communicate with them?
I have not talked to them. I know my mother has been taking care of them.
I understand, but you have not,
No, I
because
haven't
you're not
been.
allowed to, or because you?
I don't know if it's because I'm not allowed to, or my mom's just not choosing to allow me to talk to them because I lost my rights and DCYF has custody of them. So I don't know if it's because of that.
You talked about your children a little bit.
Yeah,
You went through Family Connections.
yeah.
Never at any point during Family Connections, with all the resources they have, did you want to read a book and record it and send it home to your family for your kids to listen to? Did you ever want to do any of those things that they had? Because I know that that's an
I
option.
have.
Okay.
I've done the Cliff thing where you get books and you can send them. I have wanted to do the recording, but I don't want to do it and they can't listen to it, or it's just hard right now with the kids.
It's hard. It's hard, but
You see what she's getting emotional about, Ed? She's not showing any emotion about what happened to Harmony. This is all about me.
Sickening.
Sickening. We're almost done, folks. Bear with us and thank you. I'm seeing all the comments in the chat, and Ed and I thank you all for the support here for Harmony Montgomery. This is not obviously about us. It's about the victim here. And we still have to find her remains. In Manchester Police Department, we heard the police chief, Alan Oldenburg. He said, we got to find Harmony and we got to hold the authorities. I'm going to put myself and Ed back on for this one. We have to find the authorities who had a hand in this that dropped the ball. And he's got to be burning up right now. Chief Oldenburg has to be burning up that this woman right here got released on the first go around. I'm just shocked by it. I would have definitely thought, and I keep saying this, that they would have let her sit there and think. She did 18 months. That's all. She got collared in April of 2022. So she's been in jail since April of 2022, and then on and off a little bit here and there. But that doesn't add up. The numbers, the math doesn't add up for me. And this fake crocodile tear bullshit here it only comes into play when it's about her.
Do you think that it will make you feel like you're trying by doing nothing? Right? Because it sounds like you really want a relationship still with your children, but you just don't know if you can go there.
Yeah, that's my mother.
Yeah. But there's all these options and things that you could have done to try to at least try to have some sort of relationship. You don't need to know if they get there. You just need to know that you did it.
I have been doing stuff.
Okay.
I've been doing the cliff thing. I've been making blankets. I've been making pictures. I've been doing a lot of things.
If you're granted parole, what is your goal?
I don't even, just my recovery is number one. And just keep doing the right thing. That's just what's been in my mind, to be honest.
So when you went to school growing up, right?
So she asked her, what is your number one goal when you released? And she had the right answers because she was prepped for this. She said, my recovery. Because if she would have said anything else but that, then the parole board, I don't believe, would have been able to release her. So she, through her attorney, knew the right things to say here. And she said it. I think that it was scripted for her, and she said it all.
People say, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a police officer. What did you want to be?
I wanted to be a veterinarian.
You still want to be a veterinarian?
Yeah.
And let the record reflect as follows. Today's decision is your parole has been approved. However, you must complete the focus program and you must have an approved home plan.
Not even an Ed, did you see that? She
Yep.
didn't even change one bit. What did you think of these little snippets that we listened to?
I'm totally disappointed in the parole board there and listening to that. I don't see how they think she's ready to be back on the streets, honestly.
It just blows my mind at these parole board hearings, and you hear you don't really get to listen in like this often, but you hear about people being released after 20 plus years in prison, and some of the crimes that they get released. Look, we've had cop killers released on parole in New York, which to me is despicable. Nobody who takes somebody else's life, no less a police officer, a fireman, an EMT, paramedic, a nurse, a doctor, anything like that, or any human being for that matter, obviously, they shouldn't be even granted or have afforded after doing 25 years release or 35 years or anything. You should not be able to be released. And again, I'm fuming. This stuff gets my blood boiling, and I see everybody in the chats the same way. So I wanted to start taking some of the questions, hashtag Ed, hashtag DutyRon, while I pull up a couple of things here. But Ed, I wanted to ask you, like, too, and we both probably have the same feelings on this. Her stealing using the money that was given to them by the state for food. Not sure if it was food stamps or whatever it was, but for her to deposit that money and use it after she was gone, and that for them to throw those charges out with no amount of years of doing any time for taking money from the government. We hear about people who swindle the government that serve sometimes close to a life sentence for that.
Mm-hmm. Don't pay your taxes and see where that gets you. Okay.
Yeah. It's fraud.
And so Wesley Snipes, he did time. Okay. But what are we talking about here? I mean, I've seen those cases too with the elders. I mean, there was just a horrific case. I read in the news yesterday about these two women who kept a dead body in the car while they went to the bank and picked up the dead man's Social Security, withdrew the Social Security money out of the dead guy's bank account. Right. Was living with the dead body and collecting his Social Security. It's crazy.
Here's a 2-minute clip of the defense, even though we didn't like Adam Montgomery's defense attorney, but calling Kayla a liar on the stand. I want you guys to listen to this because this is kind of a little bit relevant to what we're talking about here.
The tough testimony in the trial for the New Hampshire father accused of killing his 5-year-old daughter, Harmony. Today, the little girl's stepmother took the stand and described the child's final moments alive. But WBZ's Christina Rex tells us her credibility is being questioned.
Nothing but the truth, so what you got?
I do. Is Kayla Montgomery telling the truth? That answer seems to be the deciding factor in whether or not a jury will convict Kayla's estranged husband, Adam, of killing his 5-year-old daughter, Harmony, back in 2019.
Do you understand the consequences of providing false testimony?
Yes.
Kayla's in jail now for perjury after lying to a grand jury as part of this investigation. The state says she's the only adult to witness Adam beat Harmony to death in the car the family lived in, all over a bathroom accident.
It put her in the duffel bag.
For 3 months, Kayla says Adam kept Harmony's body in a bag wherever they went. At one point, she helped him cut clothes off the body before he allegedly stuffed it into a small tote and disposed of it.
You lied more than once.
Yes.
But is any of that true? The defense spent all afternoon poking holes in Kayla's credibility.
That was a lie.
Yes.
That was a lie that protected you, and that was a lie.
Yes.
So you went to the police station to do the right thing, which was to lie.
So who will the jury believe? The prosecution, who says Kayla was a battered woman terrified of being killed by Adam if she came clean? Or the defense, who says Kayla's a liar, pinning everything on Adam so she can get out of jail?
Kayla, did you kill Harmony?
No, I did not.
Did you beat her to death?
No, I did not.
And the defense.
Did you see how she didn't even look at the prosecutor as he asked those questions? She was looking to the jury, or maybe off to the side of where the jury was. I mean, it just didn't seem like
when you're a witness, they prep you to do that. The prosecutor tells you, give your answer to the jury, and that's what you should do. They're the triers of the fact. So I don't give her, anything about, not looking at the prosecutor when he's asking the question, because you're supposed to give your answers to the jury. And that's what I teach my students all the time as a crime scene investigator.
Right.
When you give your answers, you could look at who's posing the question, whether it's the defense attorney or the prosecutor. But when you give the answer, turn to the jury and look them in the face when you give them the answer.
She didn't seem to turn to the jury because she's looking straight ahead here, right?
The defense, who says Kayla's a liar, pinning.
She's looking. The jury is to her right.
Her right, yeah.
So she's just looking a slight bit off from where the podium is. Look at it as it gets
Adam
closer.
so she can get out of jail.
Kayla, did you kill Harmony?
No, I did not.
Did you beat her to death?
No, I did not.
And the defendant, Adam Montgomery, again chose not to be in court today. Now, Kayla will be back on. So
that was just, again, compelling testimony from her about what was done to Harmony in those days, day 3, when we listened to that. That was tough to hear. And it gave us an inside look into what Harmony's last moments were like, her last days leading up to this, living in that car in the parking lot, going to the methadone clinic and going to Burger King, and then the accident. Just so horrifying. So did you see anything in the chat, Ed? I was trying to eat up a little time. Anything in the chat with questions or no?
No, I don't see many questions, just people agreeing that she shouldn't have been let out and that she needs to pay for her crimes, and that, they're talking about blame going around. There's a lot of blame to go around here. But it starts with them. It starts with the parents first, okay? Their lifestyle, whether it was Crystal or Kayla and their shared husband. Their lifestyle is what brought us to this tragic event here of the killing of Harmony.
I agree. I want to look to some of the polling that we did here. Now, I had asked early on before we started out what you guys thought and how you felt about Kayla Montgomery being released early. and I'm going to open that up right now and take a peek at it. So just give me 2 seconds. Here's one I see. H. Cook, hashtag Ed, hashtag Ron. Do you believe Adam Montgomery buried her whole?
No, I don't think he buried her. There's some talk that where he went, and there's an incinerator. So I think what he did, given his statement about all the searches being a waste of time, I think he may have deposited her in a receptacle, a trash receptacle of some kind, where he knew that receptacle would get into the incinerator system and then be burned and disposed of.
That's a tough one. And you know, Harmony's remains, her skeletal remains, have not been recovered. And we talked about the Manchester police chief, Alan Oldenburg, said we still have to find her remains. And he keeps that in the top of his priority list, at the top. And we heard the detective also at the press conference say, as long as he's a detective and working in the police department, that is going to be his number one priority. So they're going to continue to work on this. So the question was, did Kayla Montgomery get off too easy? And it was just a simple yes and no. 94% of the 1,025 votes, there's the vote is pinned at the top. 1,025 votes came in yes. The answer is yes, she got off too easy, 94%. 6% said no, she didn't get off too easy, that she gave testimony, she got a deal, and then she got out, and 6% felt it was fair and just that Kayla Montgomery got out in 18 short months. I say I respectfully disagree with those 6%, but I respect their opinions. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Here's Karen, Legal Minded Friends. Question: how can parents have custody of a child if they are going to a drug clinic? Don't they do drug tests? Well,
there's another hole in the system, folks, right there. Absolutely. You know, I mean, how can a judge award custody to a convict with a history of violence and drug abuse? But yet it happened, you know, and Crystal's defense attorney, you know, didn't fight for her. She was in another court. You can't be in two places at the same time. So the judge in the other hearing got all pissed off that she wasn't there because she's in a court in another case. The lawyers failed Crystal. I mean, granted, Crystal failed Harmony and her other son, right. Her other child, the son. She failed them by her drug use and, you know, what she was doing at that time. But there's a lot of blame to go around here, and there's no way that they should be giving these kids to drug addicts.
100%. But this happens all the time, and it's happening as we speak right now. For Christ's sake, they were pulling up to the methadone clinic with all those kids in the car. As we heard in the testimony, he went in first, or she went in first, and then he went in. So they're parked in front of the clinic, maybe double parked, maybe parked in plain view, no tints on the window. You got the kids all in the back, and nobody saw it. Nobody said anything. Nobody even took notice of it. Patricia Banks says hashtag. Go ahead, Ed.
No. From my limited knowledge on methadone clinics, having had, as I said, a relative in one, he would have to go and bring a cup of urine. He would have to. They would do a urine test on him in the clinic, right, before they issued the methadone to them to see if there was any other drugs in the system, right? And if there was drugs in the system, they didn't get the methadone.
And there was probably ways that you can get around it and put something in it or whatever. And I don't know. I mean,
right. But as soon as so in this case, they have the family in the car outside the methadone clinic. And they both go in, they get tested, they get their methadone, they do their methadone, right? And now they're they're jumping the car. He kills Harmony. And then they run off and they score some Burger King and they score some heroin and some crack and fentanyl or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was dope and coke. Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy. Here's a good question. Patricia Banks says, DutyRon, do you think that the dad would have been found guilty without her testimony? No, I don't think so. I don't think that a lot of things that the police department were able to, I'm not arguing that Kayla provided the prosecution with the slam dunk to get guilty verdicts across the board. There's no dispute there. But you still look. I'm gonna cite. I keep going back to the Shonda Vanderrock thing, but Shonda Vanderrock starved her son with her other son, Paul Ferguson. He cooperated with the prosecution and was their star witness against the mother. He still received 30 to 100 years in prison, right? I say this to you. What's the difference between the state of Michigan and the state of New Hampshire? There's no difference. So they should have still said, yeah, we're going to cut your deal. You're not going to do life in prison. What harm would it have done if they gave her a decade? I would have felt just a little bit better, me personally. Now, it's not about me. Remember, I'm just talking for us. If she got a decade and you could take the 18 months she served, so now she has to do just maybe 8 years, it would have been an easier pill to swallow with all of the background of what she told the court, what she did, cutting clothing off of this poor little girl, taking her and putting her in a stroller and tootling over to the Portland Pie Company for her to be deposited. Like, come on. Not 18 months time served. You did a good job. Here you go. Get out, pat on the back. We'll see you. Here's all your little conditions. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Ed, look at this one. Dee Dee says, question, could a diameter be calculated with the mileage of the U-Haul area? Could they have driven to bury the body? She's saying, we've already heard this, but Ed, this is your expertise. Could they?
Well, yeah, there was this, the calculations were already done. They know the range and the area that he could have traversed, and based upon tolls and speed and time. And so they're focusing in that general area where they know that he had to have been with that Rydell rental van. And, you know, it wasn't a truck, it's a van. So they're going to research those areas again that they already did. And because those areas are in the same circumference of possibilities.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of questions have slipped by because I stayed focused on those few. So I'm scrolling back now to see if I missed any good questions. Hashtag from Nancy, Ron, do you think people will try to hurt her on the outside? So Nancy D, anything's possible, and that is a potential there is a potential there for that to happen. That would just be me guessing and talking out loud. I would say, yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, no good can come from that, and
right.
it shouldn't happen. Stay away from her. Okay, nobody should be approaching her that it has nothing to do with her in order to extract some kind of revenge. They feel because of this case. All right, that's total societal breakdown at that point. Really, no vigilanteism.
100%. Teacher says, DutyRon, how can her mother have the kids, the 3 kids? We just heard that, and then the fourth is with the biological, I guess, the father of. She's having kids with a whole bunch of different guys. She said, how can the mother have the kids? It's all the same dysfunction. I say, get them out of there. I mean, I point to DCYF because they did the screening and they know that the whole world is watching, right, Ed?
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. It seems to me that you would want to get the kids away from this entire family.
Yeah.
Okay. And into a loving foster care system, and then potentially adopted.
Christina A put this a few times in the chat, and thank you for being patient and persistent and putting it back in. Channel member, great friend of Crime Time with DutyRon here, part of this community. And thank you to everyone who subscribes and becomes members and so forth. DutyRon and Ed, do you think Kayla's mom knew at the time about Harmony being in the cooler in that vestibule?
I would hope she didn't know. I mean, if she did know, then she kept evidence, and she should be charged as well for hindering prosecution and also disturbing evidence and the various charges of the body, so forth. And she shouldn't have the kids then.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, like I said, Ed, they know the whole world is watching this, and they know that they screwed up big time in this case. So if they haven't dotted their I's and crossed their T's as it pertains to Kayla's mom, then God, shame on them. Shame, shame, shame on them. So I'm looking for Christina Luba is the mom's name, Kayla's mom. And we heard Christina Luba, Lubin give an interview outside of her home, and she called Adam a monster, evil. She didn't say anything nice. She had nothing nice to say about him, period. And I'm still scrolling back. So little Patty in all caps. I love you, little Patty, and thank you for putting in all caps. Was it part of the plea agreement for Kayla not to be charged with accessory to murder if she told the truth? Yeah, she was charged with specific crimes, and I wrote them down. Hold on a second. They said Kayla Montgomery's plea deal facing 3 to 5, 3.5 to 7 years. First charge reduced by 18 months. Second charge wiped, whatever that second charge was. I think that was the fraud for the welfare, the money. Perjury and false statements to the grand jury. That was what she did 18 months for. And then that's it. That was it. She got a slap on the wrist. Time served. She was in jail from April of 2022. She never got out. She did drug treatment. They're getting her all straight. She's definitely eating. And listen, I'm a fat guy myself, and she's not missing a meal. That's for sure. I could say that. And I know I'll get crucified for that one, but she seems to be eating very well in jail. So let's look at the chat. Anything else? Okay, the votes are up to almost 1,152. Did Kayla get off too easy? We presented that question to you in the beginning of this live stream. 93% said yes. Now 7% say no. She did not get off too easy. So I'd like to hear from those 7%. Whoever voted no, let me know the reason why. And don't attack, please. If someone is brave enough to tell us why they voted, she got what she did, she did enough time. She's good to go. Let her go. Let her get out. Let her be free. I just would like to hear why. So please don't attack anybody. Let's say thank you to all the people who gave super chats during the course of this thing. We're on for about an hour now. So I'm going to start from the bottom. Silver Crawler, thank you for becoming a member. Sheepdog, she says, Kayla, the judge who gave custody to Adam and the caseworkers should all be held accountable and rot in jail. We agree. Ed and I say exactly that. And so does Chief Aldenberg. He said the same thing. Jeff Litweiler, a good friend from Wyoming, says, don't let our ass out until they find Harmony. This is bullshit. I kind of like amped that up a little bit for you. Sheepdog sends in another super chat and said, Kayla should not be allowed to close to any children. I agree. I agree 100%. Ed, I know you agree too.
Yeah, mark my words. Again, the recidivism rate. Just remember that. All right. All right. She's going to go back to the same community and doing the same things. And you watch, she's not going to get herself clean. She's going to end up getting pregnant again. Mark my words.
And this is not what we wish for.
Hell no.
This is the statistics. The statistics. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. The statistics do not lie, ladies and gentlemen. So that what we're saying is what we've seen. We've seen this in the past. We see it all the time. EV323, $10 super chat. She says, I just want to thank you, DutyRon and Ed Wallace, for your expertise, content, and continuing quest for justice. My favorite true crime YouTubers. Kudos. Hey, thank you from Ed and myself. Positive Vibe says, thanks for all you do, Ron and Ed. Well, we thank you for being here. Look who's here, Ed. Sana Alith Holt Johnson.
Yes, very nice.
Her Norwegian support member for 17 months. It's a long time. Happy Sunday, DutyRon and Ed Wallace. Same to you. It might not be Sunday. It might be Monday there, maybe. I don't know. Ed, you're going to be traveling. Do you want to talk a little bit about that while we're talking about Norway?
Yeah, so our international friends here from New Zealand and Australia, I'll be leaving for New Zealand on Tuesday, and then bouncing back and forth between New Zealand and Australia, and for the next couple of weeks. After that, I'll just have one more continent to visit, and that's Antarctica. So,
Oh, wow.
And I'm home. I want to do that cruise to Antarctica too, to see that. And folks, hey, a little FYI, DutyRon and the missus and myself and my wife got together last night for dinner, and we had a great time and a lot of laughs. But I will tell you, we invited them for an authentic Chinese dinner, but DutyRon is a culinary coward. You know, he does not stray far from his meat and potatoes. I'll tell you that much, man. He was so worried about what I was going to order, traditional Chinese food, not the stuff from the fast food Chinese restaurants that have been Americanized. And he was like, you know, he was really panicking. I
enjoyed it thoroughly. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And you know, I know you modified the order to, you know, but I looked around at some of the other, you know, authentic dishes that other tables were eating, and a lot of the same things that you ordered were on some of the other tables, like when I got up to go to the restroom and so forth. So I think what you chose was awesome, and I was
like we said yesterday, you know, you're in a good Chinese restaurant when most of the people in the restaurant are Chinese.
Yeah. Can I show a picture? I'm going to go full screen.
Yeah, you can show a picture.
Do you mind?
No, not at all.
All right. So from last night, me and Ed with all the food. I know you could see. I took a picture just of the food. What do we got there, Ed? You want to describe what we're looking at?
Okay. So we have young chow fried rice. We have chicken pan fried noodles. We have shrimp, honey walnuts and broccoli in the Grand Mariner sauce. We have pork chops. Looks like you have a little piece left over of a spring roll. Yeah, but of course, Ron had to get the fried wonton. You know,
shut it. Hold on.
The grease in the plate was on. You know,
stop breathing down my neck.
Let me have some fun. All right, me and the Mrs. Wallace, me and Margaret. Right, that's a great picture. There's the restaurant.
Yes.
Ron and Ed's.
Now show them me and your wife.
I'm going to. Give me a second.
He's a culinary coward. That's right.
Ed and Mrs. DutyRon. There was 2 pictures we took because Ed had his mouth full.
There's he decided to take a picture when I'm eating.
There's the smiling. This is the good picture. Wait, this is the bad picture. Ed's got food in his mouth.
Oh yeah, Singapore noodles are great, by the way. Sweet ones. I love Singapore noodles. The curry and the spices and the vegetables and the meats and delicious.
We had a great time because it was your birthday. It was really your birthday celebration, Ed, and seeing you off for your trip. So I thought it was a great night. The weather was kind of crappy, but it's always good to get together. And that was the first time I got to meet the boss, Ed Wallace's boss, Margaret. And Janine.
Yes, and then DutyRon and my wife proceeded to tag team me, which is par for the course when my wife gets together with one of my partners. She always loves to, get together with my partner and tell these stories at my expense.
Full disclosure, I was just going along with the flow because I didn't want Margaret to, get mad at me. So I stayed on the course that she led me on. So I just Ed expected me to guide the ship off course, but I stayed on the course and I stuck it out with Margaret. Rachel sends in a super chat and says, always appreciate you and Ed giving us your expertise and experiences. Thank you so much. Amber says, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Oh yeah, she just reminded me. So guys, if you don't mind, please hit the thumbs up on this video, share it out onto your social media platforms. Make sure you are subscribed here. And if you'd like an opportunity to have a chance at a free channel membership, I do this on every one of these live streams. Make sure you put the thumbs up, hit that little thumbs up, subscribe. These are 3 things we ask you to do. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and put a hashtag Ed in the chat. So subscribe, thumbs up, hashtag Ed gives you a chance to get a free membership. And I'm going to do that in about 60 seconds. So let's light up the chat and get those thumbs up going. And I want to come back to this. You know, we cannot control, obviously, what the court system does, what a judge, what the prosecutor works out with perpetrators, complainant witnesses, accessories, whatever you want to refer to Kayla as, because you can really put so many different titles onto her. I feel like she was an accessory to murder. I feel like that she had a hand in on helping him dispose of Harmony's remains. So, you know, she could easily get a whole slew of charges you could throw at Kayla. But we didn't know about any of this stuff until she came clean and became cooperative with the prosecutor. So she did get us Adam Montgomery signed, sealed, and delivered. But remember, he was looking at 75 years on the on the weapons charges. So even if there was not a guilty verdict here, he is not going to get out. He was never going to get out and see the light of day without Kayla. But it's just being able to get that justice for Harmony, in her name. I think that was really important. It was really important for them to get that guilty verdict across the board. And I wasn't even sure if they were going to get it. How surprised were you when you saw the guilty on all counts straight across the board, Ed?
Well, I mean, given the how quick they deliberated, I thought that was going to be the case. As opposed to what happened with the Connecticut case that we were following with Michelle Troconis. I definitely saw this one coming back all guilty. I didn't think the defense, got enough reasonable doubt out of their cross-examination of her.
Anybody else in the chat feel the same way? Did you guys feel that confident that they were going to get a guilty across the board as it pertained to Adam Montgomery? Just wondering. So look, I'm looking at some of the questions. There's a lot of hashtag Eds and everyone's compliant Eds, checking the hang saying as always.
No, I hear some strange sounds upstairs, and I just
to make sure there's no invasion of the Wallace home.
Well, the Kara's upstairs by herself, and it's, by the way, it's Kara's second birthday. She's 2 years old. So in addition, my wife and I have been thinking about getting another dog.
Oh, wow.
So I was just gonna show the picture if I can.
Grab it. I think everybody would like to. Okay, we just gifted out 10 memberships.
All right.
Congratulations to the new members to Crime Time with DutyRon. I'm going to be doing a members only shortly. So I don't think today, but I think soon we're going to be doing a members only. So hope you guys will all join us for a members only. I'm going to have Dave Rader and Twyla Cisco join me for a members only. Ed, you're traveling. You're leaving on Wednesday, right, or Tuesday?
Tuesday, tomorrow. Tuesday. Tomorrow's Monday.
Yes. We got one more day with Ed, and Ed's boss said that he would be available, but I'm not going to bother him on his family vacation. But if it's something pressing, really pressing, he's going to be available. So.
I have my phone. I have an internet connection. I can definitely do it. But so we contacted our Kara's breeder, and he had a new litter. And so he's got two left, a male and a female. And so we're thinking about going after the male here.
Oh, adorable.
To give Kara a brother.
Wow. So there'll be two. There'll be two in the household. Two in the Wallace house. That'd be awesome. And Kara is the watchdog. She's barking at everybody.
I call Kara my window tough guy, because anybody that walks in front of the house, she senses, she jumps up on the couch, looks out the main window of the house, and starts barking at anybody that walks in front of the house.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Window tough guy. That's what I call it. A window tough guy.
She's going to have, if you guys decide to pull the trigger on that, that's going to be great. That puppy is adorable. Yeah.
I'm really interested because I've never owned a female dog before. I've only had male dogs. And so I'm really interested to see Kara's maternal instincts and how she will react with, which on all intents and purposes is going to be her brother. Okay. Right. And let's see if she can even sense that this is a family member, So
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Look at this question. Dogs with Jobs says, how much training does Kara have?
Well, we had a professional trainer come in and train Kara with myself, my wife, and my son for one Sunday for 2 months, every Sunday for 2 months. She knows all of her commands and she listens, and she's very well trained.
Everybody's telling you to do it. Just do it. All right. I got to show this because Angela S., I don't think she's in the chat, but I want to show you. She bought me and Ed gifts. And this is a custom keychain. And it's a bulletproof vest with the cuffs, and it says DutyRon, and that's my badge number 4503. And it's a keychain holder. Look. So yeah. Angela S., thank you so much for this great gift. I hope that's coming through pretty good. So
yeah, and I have one too. Thank you, Angela. Yeah, I saw the comment there about adopting and rescuing a dog. I've been to several shelters, and I went into the shelters in the New York, New Jersey area, and all of them seem to be filled with pit bulls. And as unfortunately, I don't have anything against pit bulls, because I know some really good pit bulls that my friends have owned, and when they're trained well, they're great dogs. But these that were in the shelters, I approached a couple because there were some really, really beautiful, cute pit bulls. But when I approached them, they were very aggressive, and they came with a lot of problems that I don't know that I have the time to break. Then I tried to adopt an animal research laboratory rescue. Beagles are used in a lot of industries to test chemicals and things of that nature. And I tried to adopt a beagle and went through the whole process, background investigation, had the dog all picked out. And just like Lucy pulled the ball out on Charlie Brown, well, this company, after they did their background investigation and approved us for the adoption of this particular beagle, gave the beagle away to somebody else.
Oh, shit.
So
it was my very first dog, and a shelter rescue beagle, and my very first dog name was Lady, and she was so adorable. Had like a little teeny white star on the forehead. Really great pup. So yeah, I'll never forget that. But listen, we do what we can, and like Ed, like you said, you want to have a dog that. For Kara, this is really going to be one of her offspring, so it's going to be a great thing, and I think they'll acclimate good together. And we'll see if she does sense that this is from her own, and that's awesome. So I hope you guys do it. I wish you guys a lot of luck with it, and we wish you a lot of fun on your travel. So I hope you and your family have a great time on your vacation, and we're looking forward to when you come back to getting back in the saddle. In the meantime, I want to say thank you to all the replay viewers, the people who became channel members during the course of this, the gifted memberships, welcome. And thank you to the moderators for being here and keeping the chat classy. Leave us messages down below in the comment section. Ed's got another day or two to answer comments, and he's there answering them out. I've seen it firsthand. I know that he does.
My wife told him last night what I do, how I spend hours of my downtime answering out your comments and questions in the comment section after we post these videos on YouTube.
Absolutely. She confirmed it. And I actually knew that he did it. He was doing that because I would see it afterwards. He'd go right at the comments. And sometimes I'd see 1 o'clock in the morning, Ed's answering out comments, and then early in the morning again. So appreciate everything that you do here for the community. You are what makes this also a great place. So thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Ron.
You're welcome. I want to just also pull it back in. This is what this live stream is all about. Mainly justice for Harmony Montgomery. And this is our tiny little victim here, murdered at the hands of Adam Montgomery, her father, and the step monster who he was with, Kayla Montgomery. She's going to be free come May 3rd of 2024. And if there's ever been a mistake made in the state of New Hampshire as it pertains to parole for somebody. This was a mistake in my eyes. And I think, you know, Ed and I are on the same page. And I think most of us, the majority of us here in this chat, are on the same page. If you haven't voted in the poll, take a minute to vote in the poll. Appreciate you being a part of this community. And I'm going to put it back up on with Ed and I. I know, Ed, you always have something to say at the end of these things. And I'm going to leave it with you.
Again, thank you for your time and sharing it with us. Thank you for being here and spreading the word about us. Please continue to do so. We appreciate you. As I always like to say, please stay safe, stay prepared, and always watch your six.
Amen. Amen, Ed. Thank you so much for that. And I'm sending prayer, strength, and positive vibes to the police department and to the community and everybody that's involved up in New Hampshire for bringing justice and continuing to search for Harmony Montgomery. This is our victim right here. Harmony, may she continue to rest in peace. Harmony Renee. They don't even want her to be referred to as Harmony Montgomery anymore. Her mom, Crystal Sori, says Harmony Renee. So good night. On behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace, we wish you a great, great evening on this Sunday. And we thank you for taking out the time to be here with us. Good night, and we'll talk soon.